This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Good evening and welcome to Headlines Now on Ndtv-Hindu. I'm Evelyn Matthew. Now, going back to schools is perhaps one of the most memorable for many, as there's so much to look forward to as a student. But for students of Chennai, now there's some amount of uncertainty like never before, especially if they are between classes of 2 and 5 and 7th upwards. A uniform syllabus will now be in. But there are many others who are now caught in this dilemma after the Supreme Court came out with that verdict today. Mr. Purushothaman, principal with the Everwin Matriculation Higher Secondary School, and our reporter who covers the education beat, Krishnamurthy, now join us on this bulletin for some more clarity on this big story today. Before we go across to each of them, a quick look at what's been making headlines this evening. After a cordial meeting with the Prime Minister, Jayalalitha uses her interface with the national media to rake up Chidambaram's election issue.
Chidambaram lost the election in 2009 and was declared the winner through fraudulent means.
Jayalalitha says meeting Sonia Gandhi at this stage is inappropriate, keeps the DMK on tenterhooks.
As I said, if anyone wants my support, they should ask for it.
The Chief Minister also says the AIADMK government will focus on governance and not go after the DMK.
So we are not looking for opportunities to file cases against anyone. We are more interested in the state's development.
The Prime Minister's office sent her a special SUV, and Amma thanks him for the pleasant meeting before she hands a list seeking crores of rupees for freebies. A green signal for common syllabus for classes 1 and 6, but a high-level committee is given 2 weeks to come up with recommendations for other classes. A marginal hike in school fees ranging between 5 and 10%, leaving the school management community unhappy with the Ravi Rajapandian committee. A short circuit leads to an inferno on Mount Road. The resulting traffic jam leaves commuters fuming for a few hours. And the Chennai police find an important clue from a building that houses European porn stars. A special team will now track them down. Ndtv-Hindu Impact. A quick look at what else has been making news across the nation and the world over. The Petroleum Minister meets the Prime Minister a day after a draft CAG report on irregularities in a key oil deal with Reliance is leaked. 200 crore rupees worth of Shahid Balwa's DB Realty assets ordered attached in the 2G scam case a day after the Supreme Court has asked questions. I expect a breakthrough soon, Maharashtra's Chief Minister says on the murder of crime reporter Jay Dane. And 6 Indian sailors freed by Somali pirates after a ransom is paid, but they have to still chart through 15 hours of dangerous water. Our top story on Headlines Now. The Queen Bee of Tamil Nadu politics held court in Delhi on the second day of her visit to the capital. Before she met the media for a power press meet, she met the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, which took off in top gear. When she left the Tamil Nadu house then, it was directly in an SPG car, and later the security waved her through 7 racecourse roads. But Amma's views on the centre's Home Minister were less than friendly, though, accusing Home Minister P. Chidambaram of fraudulently getting elected to the Lok Sabha in 2009. The Chief Minister, while in Delhi, demanded his resignation.
Because he has not won his parliamentary seat. In fact, Mr. Chidambaram lost the election in 2009 and was declared the winner through fraudulent means. My candidate, who was the actual victor, has filed a case in the Supreme Court. There is no question of softening our stand on this. The case is pending. And as for the case being delayed, we are not responsible for the delay. We will try to expedite the hearing of the case as far as possible.
Meanwhile, P. Chidambaram has strongly reacted to Jayalalitha's remarks. He said that Jayalalitha's statement is gross contempt of court. She has always had utter contempt for court. Hence, her statement is not surprising. Now, Ms. Jayalalitha held out a lot of hope for central assistance for Tamil Nadu after her conversation with Dr. Singh today. Asked whether the DMK was too worried a lot as they watched her visit closely, the Chief Minister said that a talk about a political realignment was premature, but she did go on to maintain that the Congress had made it clear that it was still in partnership with the DMK at the centre, so a question of aligning did not really arise.
The Congress has made it very clear that it continues to have an alliance with the DMK. In effect, both are still partners in the UPA coalition government at the centre. So the question of my offering support simply does not arise.
Now, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister met only the Prime Minister today and not the UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi. She noted that it was not appropriate for her to call on Ms. Gandhi as the Congress and the DMK continue to be allies at this point of time.
The Congress and the DMK till today continue to be partners in the coalition government at the centre. In such a situation, it would not be appropriate for me to call on Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, who is also the Congress President.
Now, Ms. Jayalalitha was visibly pleased that Dr. Singh had promised assistance for Tamil Nadu on many issues, especially power, blaming the previous DMK government for the current power crisis in the state. The AIA-DMK Supremo said that alleged corruption in the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board was one of the reasons for the poor energy state of Tamil Nadu. However, she added that the Prime Minister said he would consider allocating 1,000 megawatts of power to the state.
The reason for shortfall in power generation are many. One was due to total corruption in the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. Substandard coal was imported from Indonesia. Deliberately, the power generation was curtailed in order to facilitate the purchase of power from private power companies, paying an exorbitant price of up to 15 rupees per unit, so that the powers that then were in authority could take a hefty commission from this.
Now, there was plenty on the wish list apart from power itself to the Prime Minister. Among them were a proposal for 10,200 crore rupees from the centre to provide 68 lakh laptops to the students here of Tamil Nadu. Jayalalitha also sought 1,125 crore rupees for solar-powered green housing scheme. She also sought another 40,000 crore rupees to clear the debt of electricity department. Amma also went on to seek the suspension of the Tuticorin Colombo ferry service and also wanted a ban on the export of cotton. Meanwhile, taking off from the 2G charges against the Textiles Minister Dayanidhi Maran, Jayalalitha urged that the Prime Minister today drop Mr. Maran from the cabinet if he didn't really resign on his own. She added that as the 2G scam was being monitored by the Supreme Court, she did have her full faith in the judiciary.
Mr. Dayanidhi Maran should step down from his post in the Council of Ministers. If he fails to do so, the Prime Minister should drop him from the Council of Ministers.
Now, Amma added that her government was committed to fostering friendly relations with the centre in interest of her state's development. Ms. Jayalalitha spoke at length about the Sri Lankan Tamils issue as well, facing Tamil Nadu fishermen with regard to ill treatment at the hands of the Sri Lankan Navy. Jayalalitha also said that a contingent should be allowed to visit the island nation to get a first-hand knowledge of issues there.
I have requested the Prime Minister that arrangements may be made for a delegation of MLAs from Tamil Nadu to visit Sri Lanka to see for themselves the conditions in which the Tamil population there is living. Because as I said earlier, there are large discrepancies in the numbers being put out as to the number of Sri Lankan Tamils who are still living in the camps. The Sri Lankan government says there are only 10,000 or less in the camps, but private agencies put the number at a higher figure.
Meanwhile, over the previously a ruling party here in the state, Amma did not leave without taking a dig at her political arch-rival, slamming the DMK at her press conference. She said more leaders of that party were likely to go to jail. She flayed the DMK policies and the rule in Tamil Nadu over the last 5 years, but pointed out that her AIA-DMK had nothing to do with the DMK's woes.
Many of the DMK leaders, members, family members and leading lights of the party are facing a slew of corruption cases. Some of them are in jail. Many more are likely to go to jail. And once again I would like to point out that not a single case has been initiated by me or by my party men or by my government. So where is the question of being vindictive? They are paying the price for their own misdeeds. And another thing I would like to point out is that all the cases against the DMK leaders, family members and his party leaders have been initiated by the central government, in which the DMK is still very much a partner. We are not looking for opportunities to file cases against anyone. We are more interested in the state's development.
Now, the DMK has reacted to Amma's comments. The spokesperson said that it was just a reaction coming from a party that was a rival to them. Let me just quote what Mr. TKS Ilangovan, the DMK spokesperson, had to say. He said, "I don't know in what circumstances she had stated that. I have nothing to say on that, and I can only think of it as a statement made by a party opposed to the DMK," unquote. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister is all set to visit her constituency of Srirangam in Trichy district to thank the voters on the 20th of June. The semi-urban constituency elected Jayalalitha with a huge margin of over 41,800 votes. Amma is expected to open a newly built MLA office in the constituency where the public can go over with their grievances. Now, are all uniforms in or out of gear in schools of Tamil Nadu? Well, that's the big question that gets answered when we come back.